Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Thanks for tuning in. It is late November and this is one of my favorite times of year. The air is crisp and cool, the tang of wood smoke in the air, the sky is bluer. I'm going to forge this chunk of 4140 round stock into a hatchet that is reminiscent of an early American style tomahawk. While our steel is heating up in the forge, let me talk a little bit about what I'm trying to do here. So if you're familiar with tomahawks, the handle is dropped down through the eye from the top, which is the opposite of the way an axe or a hatchet normally is hung. I'm going to be combining some different design elements here, so this isn't particularly going to be historically accurate, but it's going to be a functional, cool looking hatchet, tomahawk style hatchet. So what I am going to be doing is using the hammer drift instead of the hatchet drift to form the eye on this tomahawk. So it's going to be more round and more like a tomahawk, but I am going to fit the handle in like a hatchet. Since this is round stock and it's a little easier to work with punching an eye and all that kind of thing with square stock, the first thing we need to do is make this square. And for that I'm going to use the power hammer a little bit. This piece of steel weighs 2 pounds, which is rather large for the type of tomahawk hatchet that I'm making, but I've never made this style before, so I want to make sure I have enough material. It's quite possible that I'm going to end up cutting or grinding some of it off. This is going to be a pull type tomahawk, which means the back of it is going to be rather like a hammer, which you can use like a hammer, and of course then it's going to have the tomahawk style blade on the other side. I really want to make a distinct eye enclosure, if you will. If you look at some of those early American tomahawks thereabouts, they have almost a square section in the middle that the eye is inserted in, so it's very distinct. It's not the type of tool you would use for splitting kindling, but definitely for cutting and chopping and that kind of thing. So now that I have this squared up to where I can actually work with it, I have to figure out where I want to start the eye. And since I've never made this before, I really have no idea, but I'm just going to go ahead and guess. I want to leave myself enough material for the pull, and of course enough material for the blade. The last time I tried punching with this, it didn't work very well. I'm hoping it goes a lot better. I've modified the punch a little bit, so hopefully it goes better. Okay, so it went better than last time, but I still had to knock it off with the hammer. I think I need something like coal dust or something to lubricate my punch, and I have to look into that a little bit more because I know there's something that a lot of guys use, and I'm trying to do it dry, and that's not working very well. But the eye is started nice and straight, and we'll continue forward and hope that the punch doesn't get stuck again until we have a nice plug. And this is why you don't use 4140 for your hot tools, because it just doesn't work. The punch is mushroomed to some degree or deformed to some degree inside the eye, and it's stuck. So it is high time to invest in some H13 to make some tools out of. But anyway, let me get this bead off of here, and then we can start drifting the eye open. So maybe you can see how it kind of goobered it up in there. But yeah, the 4140 steel is just not capable of any hot work, at least not this much. That's why I use H13. But anyway, we've got a nice punch in there, and now we can start drifting the eye open. I'm gonna go ahead and grind that little bit off right there and just clean that up. So moving forward, I really want to isolate the eye area as sort of a cube, and the blade and the pull are going to be coming off of that. Next thing I'm going to do is really start working on that pull area and try to define that as well as I can. So I made a really stupid mistake a minute ago. I was using a single round die on the top and a flat die on the bottom to flip the Tomahawk head upside down and isolate where that blade starts to drop down towards the edge. But I forgot that I was running one round die, and so I started to, I flipped it over, and I needed two round dies. So basically I just smashed the blade completely off center of the eye. So I spent the last 10 minutes trying to get that straightened back out. I'm getting close, but man, that was kind of a waste of time. Well, so far I have at least half again as much material as I need, so this is going to be a formidable Tomahawk tool. But anyway, I'm going to press on, and this is definitely a learning experience, but at least we're going to turn out a good solid tool that can be used for all kinds of stuff in the backcountry or around the house, I guess. Well, what can I say? I don't know, it's kind of humbling, I guess. Everything was going really well until I totally made that dumb mistake and screwed up the eye. It's still a little bit off. The blade is pretty well lined up, but I can't get the blade and the pole lined up like they need to be. So I think maybe a little grinding will fix it. Yeah, the biggest thing, that was the biggest thing. But the other big thing, learning how to make hatchets and axes, is having the right tooling. That's been probably my biggest issue so far in this whole endeavor. And you saw what happened today. I've had that happen before, and I thought it was because I had a poor cross-section shape to my punch, but I think it's mainly due to the fact that I use a 4140 for a punch, which is, it's not suitable for that. I'm gonna go take this to the grinder and do some massive modification to it. I don't know. Well, there it is, guys. I think I'm gonna call it quits on this one at this point. I was gonna put a handle on it and all that kind of stuff, had high hopes, but it really kind of went south after I screwed up the eye on that. That's just, I guess, a word to the wise. Be very careful that you keep that eye lined up. If I had a shorter drift, I could stick it sideways in the press and do some different things and probably get it straightened out, but I don't want to cut my hammer drift in half right now, so I'll keep working on that. This is just chalk it up to learning, and it's all experience. So I mean, you can pay somebody to teach you and learn, or you can pay yourself to teach yourself, I guess, if you want to. It takes maybe a little more time sometimes, but my goal is to get to where I can produce these for customers and make a high quality hatchet rack. So it's all part of the process, and I appreciate you guys coming along with me on this one and commiserating with me and supporting the channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.